Yo, what's good YouTube? GZTV back with another video, and in this video we will be discussing the 11th episode of Season 2 and one of the most dramatic, one of the most emotional, heartbreaking episodes of this series so far. We have Judge, Jury, Executioner. I was so antsy to get back to my room and talk to you guys on the channel about this episode. It is so damn good. And the end of it, obviously, it's sad. We lose a character that's probably one of my favorite characters just because of his relentless hope and finding the good in people and finding the humanity in groups. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get through the episode. There's gonna be a lot of discussion points. I feel very passionate about that episode. I was so emotionally invested. I turned my TV off and I was like, holy shit, what did I just watch? It was actually insane. I just watched Better Call Saul, so we'll have that review tomorrow. That's the second episode of Season 3. That's a good-ass episode too, but let's get into the plot and the critical reception. You know exactly how these go. I'm taking an L in computing. Update on college, by the way. Not going well. Alright. Daryl beats and interrogates Randall in the barn. That's kind of how we're starting the episode off. They take the prisoner in, and Daryl beats him senseless, trying to get words out of him. I mean, none of this group really knows. They're not really mature enough to handle a stranger in a situation like this. And Dale is. I mean, he's old, he had a lot of wisdom, and we're going to see the arguments, the positions on what to do with this prisoner later in the episode here. Randall admits he comes from a larger group of men who had once found and raped two girls in front of their father. So a very, very fucked up, twisted group. And, Daryl's imagining this, and he can't even imagine what they're going to do to their group. I mean, if they're out here doing shit like that to teenage girls, I mean, you can't even really imagine. I'm sorry if that light back there's a back. Look, I have LED lights on, so no, you can't even see it. That's crazy. That's how tall my ceilings are this year. Well, they're not really that tall, but I don't know. Anyways, moving on. The group agrees that Randall is an imminent threat, and Rick Grimes believes he should be executed but waits until sunset. It doesn't really matter. I mean, here's the thing. It doesn't really matter what Randall's group is, what their intent is, what the rivalry is. This is not a representation of their group. And that's kind of the position that I'm taking here watching this. It's like, how are you going to execute a guy that isn't even really a part of the group anymore and never really was because he didn't agree with some of the stuff that these people did, right? He even said, like, I didn't partake in any of the rapings. I didn't do that. He didn't take a part in it. He didn't want to be represented by those people. And they still want to execute them, which shows the immaturity, shows the brokenness that, Daryl discusses about this group throughout the episode, and Dale agrees with them eventually. But, I mean, man. Dale finds most of the group agree with Rick's decision and attempts to change their minds by appealing to their humanity, civilization, and morality. So at this point, Dale's kind of on his own. Some people, they have the body language that they might want to agree with Dale, but they're too scared of the higher powers. There are guys like Rick, Shane, Daryl, guys like that. They don't want to go against them. Especially like Andrea. Andrea's been with Shane this whole time. She doesn't want to disappoint him by going against him. And that's just a mentality you have to get rid of if you want to be yourself. But again, that's another thing that makes Andrea a very flawed character for some. Obviously, that's how she was designed. But that means the show did a good job with her character and making her a hated character. There's going to be heels. There's going to be baby faces. WWE terms for you. Most agree with Rick's choice for various reasons, but Shane agrees to support Dale should he be able to convince the others to change their minds. He's like, go for it. I mean, if you can change their minds, I'll be on your side as well. I'll hop on the damn bandwagon. Again, very immature, very young, youthful mind that is Shane, and that's been on full display throughout this entire series. I got something spoiled about this show, and I don't remember if I knew this happened or not, but I'm going to try to get it out of my head as we continue to watch the show. But that's besides the point. Meanwhile, Beth has since recovered from her earlier suicide attempt. She's in some somewhat good spirits. Like, she's willing to talk to people and stuff like that. When Glenn comes to check on her condition, Herschel gives him a family heirloom, representing his approval of Glenn's relationship with his daughter Maggie. I mean, my God, Glenn has done it. That's a big stepping stone in getting a relationship with a girl, is their parents approving of it, and even taking a liking of you and giving you a totem that's significant as this stopwatch. I mean, you know, his father gave him that. It's really special for one to be gifted that. So, as the day progresses, tensions kind of rise, and like, what is the fate of Randall? That's kind of the whole point of this episode. We know his fate will be decided at the end of this episode, but yeah. Rick's son, Carl, becomes restless and sneaks into the barn to observe Randall, which really isn't that much of a problem, but again, taking the group's viewpoint on Randall and what they think his intentions are, they were obviously mad at Carl when he got in the barn and started trying to talk to him and stuff. So Carl did make some really bad decisions, and the karma comes back around later in this episode. Trust me, it is bad. Oh my goodness, it's very heartbreaking. The end, I mean, just everything piled on top of each other. The storylines are just interweaving with each other. It's beautifully done, but it's so sad. So we'll get into it. Randall tries to convince Carl to release him, but Shane discovers Carl's presence and scolds him. He's like, why the hell are you here, dude? Go to your mother, stay safe. You're getting out in trouble for no reason. And in this situation, I don't think he was, but obviously later on in the episode, he does some stupid shit that pretty much costs Dale's life. If you're gonna think, it's kind of crazy, because you realize after you watch this episode, Carl saved Randall and killed Dale. That was never his intention. I mean, he wanted to save Dale and kill Randall. You know what I mean? And it's so insane how these parallels just kind of line up with each other. I think it's beautiful. I don't think anyone talks about that concept. I know that was intentionally done. Outside, Carol attempts to cheer Carl up by reminding him Sophia is in heaven, but he lashes out at her, disgusted seeing Carol calm about losing her daughter. I mean, yeah, I don't know, maybe. I'm not a big religious guy, but hating on someone for being religious is just kind of a shitty thing to do, and that's what he does here, so I don't know. Carl ends up taking a gun from Daryl's stash and heading into the nearby swamp alone, so it's just kind of a snowball effect for Carl. Things just get worse and worse and worse for him as we progress. He finds a walker half stuck in mud and taunts it by throwing rocks at it, and then moves in close to shoot it in the head. So obviously, getting the walker, initiating something, instigating something with the walker, trying to get him out of the fucking mud for some dumbass reason. I mean, he's a dumbass kid. Let's be real. He's 11 years old. He's gonna be a fucking idiot when placed in this dilemma. Let's see. The walker suddenly frees one of its legs and lurches forward. Carl panics and drops the gun before running back to camp, not telling anyone what happened. And they're probably never going to find out what happened, which I don't know. I feel like that's kind of unrealistic. I feel like the father figure of Rick being just this watchdog, this leader over the group, making sure they make good moral decisions. Oh, dude. Carl killed Dale. That's insane. It really is. I think this show's awesome. Obviously, it's very overrated in the media, but dude, it's a great show for stuff like this. This episode is like a cornerstone of this episode, or of this show. At sunset, the group discusses Randall's fate, and Dale's arguments have failed to sway the group, and he storms out. He's like, fine, if you want to be immoral, if you want to lose your humanity, if you just want to be a complete monster and kill a man in cold blood that you don't even know his intentions, and it's a young guy, this Randall guy is at most early 20s, go for it. He leaves. He's like, all right, do it then. Be bad people. I'm not going to be a part of that. Rick, Shane, and Daryl return to the barn, and Rick prepares to shoot Randall when Carl runs in and urges his father to do it. So obviously Carl saved Randall by showing up, because his dad's not going to shoot a human being in front of his son. He may shoot a walker, but definitely not a human being. I feel like those are lines that Rick is not willing to cross. By the way, I don't think I'm going to get into critical reception of this episode just because I have so much to talk about it and I'm so prideful about it. I love this episode so much. Rick is horrified and stops the execution, much to Shane's annoyance. Shane called it in the beginning. They're going to pussy out. That is such a Shane term to use. My God, it's so characteristic of him. He pussied out. But you're not going to shoot someone in front of your son, are you, Shane? You're not in his shoes. I mean, I don't think Shane has any sympathy for anyone. I feel like he should have been banished from the group a long time ago. Why did no one listen to Dale? I don't know. I feel like we're gonna get to Dale in a couple of seconds, but I feel like Dale dying. Yep, that's what happened. All right, I was gonna just bring it up and kind of show the shock on my face when I saw it, but Dale dies in this episode, and it's so heartbreaking. He's the one to die out of all of these people. I mean, he is the most innocent character, but it shows that the show will go to higher bounds, the highest of high bounds, just to get some shock value out, just to get some crazy storylines out. No regrets. I mean, remorseless show, I guess. And they don't care. They're not scared to pull the trigger on things. No pun intended. Dale walks alone in the... I walk alone... Oh, wait. No, that's not... Okay. Dale walks alone in the fields to cool off when he comes across a cow that has had its stomach gutted. Now, I don't know why at night Dale would be out here in the damn fields walking around aimlessly. A cow's been gutted. There's only one explanation for that. The cow's been bit. I mean... Yeah. The second you saw that damn thing and you realized what was happening, you should have fucking ran. You shouldn't have sat there and had this dumbass dramatic moment. I mean, I love you, Dale, but the way you went out was kind of fucking sorry and kind of fucking unnecessary. But I think there's kind of an irony in this thing. I think there's kind of like a... What do you call it? Like just an unexpected factor about this. The guy that's moral ends up dying, and... the guy that he was trying to fit, he saved Randall's life to an extent, I suppose. Not really, I guess. It was Carl. Let's be real. Carl saved the dude's life. I mean, it's kind of wild. Yeah. So realizing the danger he is about to head back when a walker attacks him. We know how this goes. It's a fucking old man against a walker. The group races towards his screams, and Daryl quickly dispatches the walker. Carl realizes it is the walker he found in the swamp. He's like crying to his mom. He's like, oh my goodness, I let this walker get away and fucking kill Dale. I mean, fuck you, Carl, but at the same time, I praise Carl for stepping in. I mean, he still wanted Randall dead, but preventing his dad from doing it. I mean, Jesus. Herschel finds Dale's injuries are too severe and he will not survive. The group agrees to euthanize Dale, but Rick himself cannot take the shot. Daryl takes the revolver and ends Dale's suffering, which he was like threatening Randall at the beginning, so that's kind of like a parallel. That's kind of like a foreshadowing to him taking the shot on Dale. Maybe a little bit. Maybe that's far-fetched theory. But yeah, I mean, Rick couldn't pull the trigger on anything. Because, I mean, he realized his son was around. He realized he had taught his son to be a fucking emotionless, unsympathetic piece of shit human being, and he realizes he kind of failed as a father at that moment. His son's not going to have a heart growing up. I mean, that's kind of the realization that Rick is faced with. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say. I think it was a fantastic episode. All those thoughts came off the dome. That's one of the most thought-provoking episodes in this damn thing. But if you're a fan of music and you're a fan of what my channel... the original intentions, which I'm happy I branched off, but the reason I'm on YouTube is to listen to music, and go check out my Geet live EP reaction, and then tomorrow we have a Nav album reaction going to be out on the channel. I'm not sure when. Should be, I want to say like 5 or 6 tomorrow, so be on the lookout. Jesus TV, reviewing all your favorite TV shows.